today's video we are going to be exploring tripod heads, most crucially why a geared head, that one, works so much better for me. Let's go and explore. Just before we get into the content for today, there's just one thing I want to make absolutely clear. I am not being paid to say any of the things that I'm saying in this video. All of the items that I'm showing and demonstrating I've been paid for with my own money, and there's no sponsorship or underhand exchange of funds taking place whatsoever. Thanks. Greetings and welcome to another landscape photography video. Can't even say it, can I? Landscape photography video. Easy for me to say. Today what I want to talk to you about is tripod heads. There are lots and lots of different tripod heads, but broadly they fall into three categories. There's our old favourite, the ball head, very commonly in use today. Then you've got the 3-axis tilt and lock, whereby you can unlock one axis on a lever, twist it and tilt it the way you want, and then you can do it back up and lock it. And then there's the slightly more sophisticated and slightly more expensive, it has to be said, geared head, which is what you saw me using right at the very beginning. There are two types that I generally use, ball head and geared head. And what I want to try and talk to you about is why. Why do I prefer one over the other, and what advantage does it give me? So let's start with the ball head, which is the tripod that I've not set up. But let me do that very quickly now, and then I can talk you through what frustrates me with a ball head. Okay, so this is my travel tripod, as I would call it, my little Vanguard VEO2 something. I'll put the full model number in the description below. It's a fantastic little tripod. It's the tripod that I use if I go climbing a mountain or climbing a hill, and I don't want to add massively to the weight that I've got on my back. It serves a superb purpose, it's a great piece of kit, and it does exactly what I ask of it. But, and this is the but, on top it has a ball head. Now, the ball head is fine. Please don't misunderstand me. It is absolutely fine. But, and this is quite hard to do with one hand, as soon as I release that ball, release the tension here, then the whole thing is going to flop forward. So if I'm trying to be really critical with the edges of my frame, which is what I would like to be at this waterfall right now, it's a lot harder to do with a ball head. I know that a lot of people actually, they put their hand around the collar before releasing it. So let me just move the camera away. I'm just going to do that now. Hang on a second. There we go. So it's now flopping about a little bit. So now You can see it. You can see the camera moving. So what people sometimes do is they use their balled fist to move and position the camera where they want it, and then when they've got it where they want it, and I'm just going to lock it off, they lock it off, and that gives them what they're looking for, and that's fine. And when I use this tripod, and as I say, it has a purpose in my kit, that's what I have to do. But I want to be super critical with my compositions. I find it imprecise, and there are occasions when I just wish that somebody could produce a little tiny geared head that would allow me to be really critical with all three axes. But it serves a purpose, and it's absolutely fine. And if I want to go hill walking or fell walking, then this will be the tripod of choice. And I know that when I take it out, that I'm just going to have to deal with the frustration of being imprecise with the three axes that the camera can move on. To get round some of these three axes, I mean, this one's got a panoramic adjustment on it, and that I can move the what would that be, the horizontal plane. I can move that completely independently. So sometimes I will try and get the vertical movements correct, and then I will just use that one to be really super fine with the horizontal movement. Also, occasionally I'll adjust the legs. Hang on, I need to the camera's not playing ball. I'll actually adjust the legs to allow me to be a little bit more precise with the movements that are vertical. But as I say, I know when I go out into the landscape with this tripod and tripod head, there's going to be an element of frustration because I can't be as precise as I want to be. Now, to try and bring that to life a little bit, let me show you the geared head, and then hopefully you'll kind of understand why that frustration exists. Okay, so now I've got the my camera on my geared head, which is a Benro geared head, a GD3WH. I used to have a Manfrotto geared head, a Manfrotto Junior 410, which was a super piece of kit, but very heavy. The Benro is about it's about a third of the weight. I'll put in the description below the comparative weights between the two, but this Benro does exactly the same job, but it's significantly lighter. So let's switch the camera on. Let's go back to our original scene. This is why I like a geared head. I am really fussy about the edges of my frame. I want the edges of my frame to be as precise as they can possibly be. It's one of the reasons why I use zoom lenses, because it enables me to do that. So with this camera, I can just twist this adjustment knob here, and that will move the camera from left to right without impacting whether it goes up or down or whether it tilts from left to right. I can then use this adjustment knob to bring the camera down, again without impacting the other two, and then additionally I can tilt it from left to right without impacting the other two. One of the huge advantages for me with this is I'm fussy about getting the camera level. So this camera's got a level meter, and the camera is now absolutely level. But if I've spotted a distraction on the edge of my scene, so I've gone and played with these other two axes, and that's actually made the camera slightly off balance, all I need to do is tweak this one to make the camera level all over again. So I'm just going to compose this scene very quickly and very roughly using these three adjustments. I'm just going to brighten the image slightly so it's a little bit more obvious. That for me is just, it's a pleasure. It's not a frustration. And yes, there is a weight penalty to be had with using a head like this, but the benefit of that weight is having this precise control, and for me that is a price worth paying. Just very quickly, the other popular type of head, well, I suppose there's actually two. There's one where you have a lock mechanism on each of these three axes, and you can move all three independently. But what I find is you move one, lock it off, then you'll move this one, lock it off, and that one will have moved, so you'll have to do it again, lock it off. And again, that frustrates me. The precision just isn't there. The other type worth mentioning is the ball head, where you have a handle that you can squeeze to unlock it, and it gives you that kind of control over all three axes, and then you just let it go and it locks in place. Potentially that's more accurate than the other two, but a ball head is the head for me. If you're umming and ahhing about a choice, I would seriously advise you to go to a camera store and play with as many of them as you can, using a camera mounted with a lens. Zoom the lens in, zoom the lens out, whatever is your usual zoom of choice, and make sure that your purchase is the right one. I originally purchased one of these 3 axes unlock and unlock, and it just frustrated me. Within about half an hour it was doing my head in, and I then went home and searched on eBay for a geared head. This one I bought brand new, and I'd love to get one to go on my travel tripod as well, but that might have to wait for me to save up a little bit of money. Well, everybody, I know that's a short one, but for me quite an important one. One of the questions that I get asked quite a lot on my workshops is why do I use the tripod head that I use? So this video aims to actually set down permanently why I make that choice, and I hope that the choice both makes sense and is reasonable. I would say again, if you're in the market for a tripod head, or your current tripod head frustrates you, then go and try different types. Try not to make the mistake that I made. And the mistake I made was to spend twice rather than spending once. Had I just gone and bought a Manfrotto 410 geared head, I did actually have 2 at one point, but if I'd actually gone and done that, I'd have saved myself 60-70 quid on a tilt and lock tripod head that I only used for about half an hour, maybe an hour, until I got completely frustrated with it. So that would be my key piece of advice. I hope the video's been useful and constructive, and until the next one, please, yeah, that's easy for me to say, please keep exploring with your camera, and I shall see you again soon. Take care. It's gorgeous waterfall.